Hello again, everyone. This is Erica Hines again, and I manage the production tracking system here at Mass CEC, also known as the PTS. And for those of you who may not know, Mass CEC is a quasi-government state agency, and we work to grow the clean energy economy while helping to meet the Commonwealth's energy and climate and economic development goals here in Massachusetts. As part of our mission, we are the third-party verifier for renewable energy systems under both the Renewable Portfolio Standard, the RPS, for Class 1s and SRECs, and the Alternative Portfolio Standards, also known as the APS. And so we help each of you to receive your alternative energy credits, also known as the AIC. So we're joined here with DOER, and Samantha will introduce herself later, but we work very closely with DOER to drive the clean energy adoption here in Massachusetts. So we are going to get started on our presentation here today. So today we'll be talking about the new Woody Biomass Fuel Reporting portal, where you'll be able to automatically upload your receipts for your AICs. Once this webinar is complete, I'd like to share that we will have a training document available, and we'll also send that out to each of you. So what are we going to be doing today? First, we're going to walk through setting up your reporter account, and then we are going to review the reporter dashboard. And within the dashboard, you'll have some activity options, which would be 1 and 3, around linking your reporting system and then adding your new fuel purchase receipts. And then we also have management tool options in that dashboard, which would be option 2, which is to view your link systems and to view your fuel purchases. Following that, we'll have the reporting schedule that's going to be shared with you via Samantha from DOER. And if you have any questions as we go along the way, please place them in the chat board, or we'll also have a question and answer section at the end. So, again, we'll be going over the reporter dashboard shown here. Option 1 and 3 will be first, because those are actual steps that requires action to be taken, linking your reporting system and adding your new fuel purchase. And then option 2 and 4 are management tools to review your link system as well as your fuel purchase receipts. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Terry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Terry Felici. I'm with Mass CEC. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up your reporter dashboard, your fuel reporter dashboard, as well as walk you through each of the 4 activities that you see on the screen. First, we're going to set you up as a reporter. So over here is the logon page to the RT system. I've set up a user here who's only an applicant right now, and I'm going to set them up as a fuel reporter. So this is what the application dashboard looks like. Over here on the right-hand side is your user tab. If you click the drop-down, you will see a new option. It's called Fuel Reporter Settings. You're going to click that. You're going to get a screen that says you're not currently registered as a Woody Biomass Fuel Reporter. Click Become Fuel Reporter if you'd like to register as a fuel reporter. So we're going to do that. The next screen is actually just a confirmation screen that tells you that you are now currently registered as a Woody Biomass Fuel Reporter. To remove the reporter role, please contact Mass CEC. We're going to go to the Fuel Reporter dashboard. So this is the new landing page if you are a reporter, if you have a reporter role. And the first 2 things we're going to talk about are the 2 activities, link reporting systems, and number 3, add new fuel purchase. Also, as Erica mentioned, if you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat, or you can hold them until the end of the presentation. So the first thing that you need to do as a reporter is link your reporting systems. So we're going to click Link System here on the Fuel Reporter dashboard. We're going to link a system. So on this page, you'll see you need to have the application ID handy for your system, as well as either the zip code or the date in service, so that the system can locate the application ID. So first thing, we're going to enter an application ID. For this example, I'm going to use the zip code. So I'm going to choose zip code and enter the zip code and find my system. The next section of the screen that you see is the confirmation details, letting you know that you successfully found the system. It shows you the system name, as well as the system address, zip code, and the date in service. If you made an error during the linking process, you would get a red error message up at the top of the screen and an option to try again. So we're going to link the system. And up at the top, you see a red banner that shows that you have successfully linked your application ID. There's an option now to link another system if you have multiple systems that you need to link, or return to the reporter dashboard. The next activity is the adding of a new fuel purchase, which is number 3. So on this screen, for adding a fuel purchase, you have a choice of how to select your system. You can either pick a system out of the drop-down. These are all the systems that this user has access to or has already linked. Or you can actually manually enter the application ID. So I'm going to do a manual entry. So the next screen is the fuel purchase entry screen. Up at the top, you'll see the application ID, the system name, and the size classification. The next prompt is the woody biomass fuel type. The choices here are wood pellets or dry wood chips. We're going to do dry wood chips. You probably also noticed that all the fields on the screen are required to file the fuel purchase. Moisture content is a field that only applies to dry wood chips. So if I had picked pellets here, I don't see the moisture content field. So we're going to enter moisture content. The next prompt is the amount of fuel delivered in tons. I'm going to pick 2. The next prompt is the fuel supplier. This is a drop-down list that you can choose out of the drop-down list your fuel supplier. If by chance the fuel supplier isn't listed, you have the option to enter an other fuel supplier. I'm going to pick the top one. The next prompt is the date of the invoice or receipt. It is a calendar field. Not sure. And the next thing to do is to attach the receipt. A receipt can be either an image file or a PDF file. So we're going to choose the file. And the final thing to do on this screen is to certify the attestation statement, which is this part right here. I'm going to certify it and submit. So the next screen that you get is there's some options here. You have the option to immediately submit a new fuel purchase for application ID 102. You can see the details of the fuel purchase that you just entered, or you can return to the reporter dashboard. We're going to take a look at the details of the receipt that we just submitted. Up at the top, you can see the purchase ID now, the application ID, the system name, the system size classification, the purchase status, which is submitted, and who entered it, which is me. And then all the details about your submission are in the gray box. You have the option to click here and look at your receipt. At the bottom, you can see the calculated or estimated AICS, the date it was submitted, and then there's some additional information that gets populated as the fuel purchase moves through the verification and reporting process. So if I click here, I can see my receipt. So I'm back on the dashboard. So we've covered going over how to link yourself as a reporter, or how to make yourself a reporter, how to link reporting systems, and how to add new fuel purchases. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay. So the next topic that we're going to cover is the management tools that are part of the Fuel Reporter dashboard. Those are number 2, view linked systems, and number 4, view all fuel purchases. So we'll look at view linked systems first. This is a display of all the systems that you have linked to your reporter. All the application IDs on the left, all the system names, the biomass type of the system, and the date the system was last reported. From here, there's a management tool. So we're going to manage application ID 102 that we just were working with. On this screen, it looks, or it is the same screen that you see after you make a fuel purchase entry and submit it. In the screen, you have the option to submit a new fuel purchase directly onto application 102 without doing the lookup that is part of function number 3. You can view the details of any of the fuel purchases that were submitted. They would show in this area under fuel purchase history, or you can go back to the reporter dashboard. Something to note about this screen is once you have more than 10 fuel purchases, this display turns into a searchable, sortable, filterable display so that you can manage the fuel purchase history better for the application ID that you're viewing. You can also see more information here about the fuel purchases. The next management tool is view all fuel purchases. It's a similar display, except this is not application ID specific. This is every fuel purchase for all of your linked systems. So here on the left, you see the purchase IDs, the date they were submitted, the purchase date associated to the receipt, the application IDs, system names, the calculated AICs, the date reported, the status of the fuel purchase record, a direct link to the receipt, or a direct link to the record, which also contains a link to the receipt. So if you just are interested in looking at the receipt, you can just go directly there without actually looking at the record. Again, this particular display, once you have more than 10 fuel purchases entered, this will turn into a searchable, sortable, filterable display so that you can manage the purchases more effectively. Back out to the dashboard. So we've covered linking yourself as a reporter, linking a reporting system, adding a new fuel purchase, viewing your linked systems, and viewing all fuel purchases.
Thank you, Terry. So, still no questions. We tried to develop a portal that was simple and straightforward, and hopefully this all makes sense. So at this point, we're going to review the reporting timeline that's required in the regs by DOER. So Samantha will take over at this point.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Erica and Terry. The PTS has done a lot of work on this portal. So, from DOER, we just want to say thank you to you guys. This hasn't really changed the process for biomass systems in the APS. We're really just upgrading from the first couple quarters. We were having applicants submit paper reports, which we know can be pretty burdensome, having to fill out a paper, scan it, send it over. And so this is really just automating that process. So the process that you've been doing for the last couple months, it's going to stay the same, but now you're just going to have this really functional portal to help make things a lot easier. So we can look at Q3, which is the quarter we're actually in now, just for an example of how the reporting will work. So Q3 started on July 1st, and it goes through the end of September to September 30th. All generation units need to report their fuel by October 15th. So I know 15 days is kind of a fast turnaround, but because you have this really usable portal, we're hoping that people will be submitting their fuel reports as they get them. So if you were to get fuel on July 2nd, there's no reason why you can't report that right away, or, do halfway through the quarter, do a batch upload, and then do the rest at the end of the quarter. So that's the great thing about this, is you can really at any time be going in and adding uploads. And then there's a couple dates that are more related to just fuel distributors and suppliers. They still have the same process that they had before, where they were, filling out reports and submitting them to DOER outside of this portal. So won't spend too much time on that, but they have some deadlines. And then for Q3, all of your AICs will be minted on January 15th. But because you're able to see real time how many AICs you should be getting from your fuel report, as long as everything you're submitting is accurate, you pretty much in real time have an idea of the certificates you're going to be receiving. So helps provide a lot more transparency to the program as well.
Awesome. The one date that I wanted to add here is that Mass CEC does have a reporting deadline to NEPL GIS, which is 5 days before the minting period. So for Q3, it will be January 10th. So although you would have reported your information by October 15th, it goes through this process, and we don't actually report to NEPL GIS until January 10th, and the minting takes place January 15th for Q3. So again, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we've developed a portal that will be very useful to you. And hopefully this was straightforward and clear. But in case there are any questions, at this time we'll take your questions. Okay, it looks like everyone is all set. What we're going to do next is for all the invitees for this webinar, you will receive a link or the actual document of this webinar, and so you'll have this tool available to you. It will also be available on the Mass CEC PTS website and the DOER APS website as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.